It turns out that police officials are increasingly ignoring violent crimes, and they are using all of their resources to arrest and prosecute people who have possession of marijuana. And there are significant incentives to do so.
Of course.
All right, so the Huffington Post actually did a really great report on this, and they lay out all of the different ways that police departments, local police departments, profit from arresting and prosecuting people who have possession of marijuana. So the first thing is that they get federal anti-drug grants, okay? And the way a police department is able to get those grants is if they can show that they have made a significant amount of arrests for marijuana and drug possession. All right, and this is a competitive thing. It's not like all police departments get it. You get this grant if you can show that you have arrested enough people.
All right, first of all, instantly, look at the incentive structure that they give you,
right?
Like, right or wrong, it's a real problem in your local community. It's not a problem in your local community. Who cares? You only get the money if you do our bidding, which is to arrest as many people for smoking marijuana and selling marijuana, et cetera, as possible. So, gee, I wonder why we got all these people locked up in jail, because they're literally getting paid to lock them up, and as much as possible. And then second of all, if you incentivize them to do that, obviously they're going to do that instead of other things.
Of course. Look, they're going to use all of their time and resources to arrest people when they know that arresting those individuals is going to mean that they're going to bring in money for doing so. So here's another example. When they suspect that someone might have possession of drugs, they can do something known as asset forfeiture. Okay, so for example, police can legally seize property from people merely suspected of drug crimes, and they can basically get a hold of the cash, and that cash goes back to the police department. It doesn't go back to the person who's arrested. When it comes to non-cash property, it's auctioned off, and that money goes back to the police department.
So look, if you got raped or you got seriously assaulted and you lost an eye, etc., there's no profit in it for the cops. I mean, hopefully they'll get to it, right? But if you had a little bit of marijuana or cocaine or whatever in your Mercedes, hey, they got a Mercedes and they get money from the federal government. Well, gee, I wonder which one they're going to put more effort into.
Right, exactly. Look, there was a case of a woman in Chicago who was literally beaten to the point where she suffered a concussion. She woke up the following morning and she went to the police. The police didn't care, so she went and did her own investigation to find out who the attackers were. Then she went to the police and said, look, here are the attackers, the names of these people, where they live, please arrest them, arrest them. Finally, after bugging them, the Chicago police decided, all right, fine, we'll arrest these guys, but stop bitching about it.
Yeah, stop complaining that you were beaten unconscious. Look, it didn't involve drugs, why would we care?
Right, exactly.
In fact, what she should have done instead of all that is, they beat me near death, plus I saw them smoking a joint. Then the cops would be like, okay, we jump in.
Yeah, exactly. Got to get those federal anti-drug grants. All right, and then the last way that these police departments make money is that drug dealers are forced to reimburse the police departments for the resources that they spent to arrest and prosecute. Mm-hmm. And that's only with drug-related crimes.
You're right. So again, if somebody came into your house, they attacked your kids, they robbed you of your precious possessions, well, since they don't have to pay it back to the cops, we'll get to it when we get to it, right? But you got a little bit of marijuana, let's make some money. You think this doesn't pervert how people, how those police departments react to these different crimes? You're crazy if you don't think that. Of course they respond to financial incentives.
And this is an increasing issue because if you look at the statistics, if you look at 1981 to 1995, there were a total of 33,775 marijuana arrests. However, between 1996 to 2010, there were more than 500,000 marijuana arrests. 500,000.
Gee, I wonder if it had an effect. I can't quite tell.